I just don't enjoy it. It's not an enjoyable experience for me, and I don't like any of you.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we will look at the dynamics of a relationship that motivate a man to become more masculine with his woman, and what actions women take that end up disconnecting a man from the relationship, making him less masculine with them. We want to invite you to smash that like button. Let's support the movement. Subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask of you. Man, add your grain of sand to the movement. Leave us your experience in the comments for any man who needs it. And without further introduction, let's get started.
My favorite book for understanding men and balancing masculine and feminine energy is this book, Getting to I Do. This is by Dr. Patricia Allen, and this is old school. It was published in 1994, and you guys, I read a lot of books, and I hear the same information over and over again. And this is one that I read last year, and I have read it like 7 different times. It's so different than what I see out there, and this book has gotten a lot of backlash because it's very different than how modern dating works now. In the beginning, all what she talks about is how women were getting the shorter end of the stick, kind of because of the feminist movement. Because yes, even though we are capable of doing everything a man does, men have not taken on more responsibility. Instead, we have. So while we're all for making our own money, having the freedom to have sex with whoever we want, whenever we want, well, now we're not getting commitment for any of that stuff. And because of that, we've really become both the masculine and the feminine. And she was saying this back in 1994, and I think it's even more true now. This book also made me realize how masculine I was. And I really fell into that like girl boss hustle culture. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, it was not making me truly happy. I hid behind that as a mask. I hid behind that because I was in survival mode and I did not trust or feel safe with anyone else to put me out of that. I always knew my future was dependent on me. And because of that, I became super harsh, super rigid. I thought I wanted to be with a masculine man, but I was always in competition with them. The only 2 things that could happen is that we were going to butt heads until we killed each other, or I was going to attract someone that I could bulldoze over. And that happened where I was the leader. It was my ideas. We all went along with what I wanted to do. Sounds cool, but I ended up resenting them for not doing it. Without realizing, I was unwilling to step out of that role. So of course, I was going to attract the opposite polarity. And that all came down to my trauma and how unsafe I felt. I have a bunch of my favorite books, including this one linked to my Amazon store, and you can find that in my bio.
I agree with what you're saying. The purple hair movement has given women the ease to compete toe-to-toe with men. Nowadays, I dare say they even have more rights than men. But has that made them happy? No, because many take the path of leadership and their character becomes stronger, they become more liberal and have the mentality that if they want something, they buy it themselves. Sometimes, when they are with a man, they want to measure their strength against him. So, in relationships, they don't let the man lead. They don't want to do acts of service for him. And they are never sweet or affectionate with the man. Everything they do for them is not received with appreciation because they think they can do it themselves. In short, they see it as the least you can do. The other thing is that they complain about everything. They are not collaborative with the man's plan, but with their own plans. If you contradict them, they get angry. Do you see where I'm going? Many, if they manage to earn more money than the man, let me tell you that this is when the real hell is experienced. And they have a point. If you get involved with a self-sufficient woman in everything, as a man, you end up relaxing, you end up stepping back because you think she will take care of it. You don't hurry to do things because, when you did in the past, you saw that she didn't need you. And the man's mindset is very much tied to solving problems, trying to be useful to his wife, trying to make her life easier and receiving love from her. It's an exchange that has been this way since the beginning of time. But this movement damaged that dynamic.
If you want him obsessed with you forever, there's one simple rule you need to understand. For women, we need to simply be loved, like a lot, like crazy about you, and not understood very much, because you can't understand me with your male brain. Just know that it is what I said, what I want, and it's the most frustrating thing because they don't understand us. I don't know why. We're very simple to understand, but just do what I want because you love me. You just adore me. Just adore me. Whilst for us, it's the opposite. You don't need to love him that much, not at the level of like obsession, and not at the level how you love your children and sacrifice everything for him. But you need to understand him, because if you understand him, you understand what makes him tick. You understand what makes him happy. You understand what makes him not happy. When you ask me, what do I do when he's broken a boundary? You need to understand what makes him unhappy too. So, therefore, if you want him to be obsessed with you and love you for a lifetime, you need to understand him, study him. You are Darwin and he is a new species. That's what you need to do. But don't love him too much. It's a waste of your time.
Fuck up, you crazy bitch whore!
Ah, of course, the relationship as a transaction, where the definition of a good relationship is do what I want and give me love. It sounds like a perfect recipe for disaster. In short, it tells women to play with men, which is why this smoke seller gives such toxic advice, only keeping women single. And the irony here is that there are men who do this, just to see how the woman gets bored and leaves with someone who knows how to set boundaries. It's like they're following a manual on how to lose your partner's interest. You know why this is toxic advice? Because it tells women to manipulate the man and not fall in love with him. That's why you later see women entering relationships where they don't like the man, usually with the beta provider, the type who can be financially useful but doesn't awaken any passion. Because, of course, the motto is to manipulate the man and not fall in love with him. Thus, they end up in relationships where the woman doesn't feel genuine interest, just convenient comfort. Because, as the wise gurus say, don't love him too much, it's a waste of time.
Men and women fall in love differently. Now, guy or girl, if you're watching this, I'm going to say both sides. Now, these aren't things you can do or how you look. It's just straight hormonal facts. So, studies shown men fall in love when vasopressin is released, and women fall in love when oxytocin is released. These are just hormones. Now, oxytocin is released during breastfeeding, sexual activity, and giving labor. Those are just 3 examples. But other ways to release them are literally giving them cuddles, hug, sexual time, just loving them. And that's how girls fall in love. So vasopressin is released when you're in the sauna, you go to the gym, and when you cause stress on yourself. So men fall in love when they're stressed. And this kind of makes perfect sense because when I met my boyfriend for the first 3 months, we weren't that comfortable with each other. So I was not showing my real self and stressing him out. I was just playing it cool, so whatever. But then after those problems started coming and that stress that I low-key caused, I noticed a switch up. I was like, oh shit, this is kind of getting serious. So maybe this might be true. So if you're a girl, stress him out a bit, not in a bad way where he's gonna freaking run away, but just do a little fun stress. And for men, give her love. Women are so easy. They just want love. Men want to be stressed out to fall in love. What? Anyways, let me know if these are valid and what else I should make.
Oh my god, who the hell cares?
This only works with an insecure man, a simp, who is afraid of losing you because he thinks he won't find anything better afterwards. But a man who has reached a certain age is really looking for peace. And what is said about hormones and all that is simply that love is not felt in company, it is felt in solitude. When you miss that person and want to see them. Women, well, they have a bit of a hard time understanding this, but to make a man more interested in you, they must learn to have individual space. For men, it is essential to have individual spaces. We need to disconnect from problems, whether it's playing video games, having a drink at a bar, going to the gym. Anything that takes us out of the house and away from the woman for a while. It's so true that the only being capable of sitting for hours doing nothing is a man. This, of course, drives women crazy, as they are always active. When a woman is in love, she wants to be close to the man, which is why you see the dynamics when she likes a man and when she doesn't. When she doesn't like him, she almost always ignores him. When she does, she wants to know everything about his day. If they only understood that a little distance and solitude makes the heart grow fonder, we would have wonderful relationships, full of balance and respect.
Men don't fall in love through sex. They fall in love through the promises that they make and then keep to you. Now I'm about to give you a whole science lesson because you guys are out here getting it wrong and you're hurting yourself because of it. Now women do fall in love through sex. That's why whenever you hear someone like, oh no, it's going to be casual, I don't actually like him, like I'm gonna be a player too, biochemically that's really hard because we release oxytocin. Oxytocin is your bonding chemical. It's why you feel close after sex. It's why you feel close during cuddling. Us women be firing off that oxytocin like crazy when we're in love. It's why he was kind of okay at first and now you're like, he's literally a shit and I am so in love. Men release some levels of oxytocin after sex, but it's actually not what bonds them to someone. What bonds them to you, that commitment level, is vasopressin. So what happens in the beginning though, they are releasing testosterone. Testosterone is their pursue behavior. That's why, girlfriend, do whatever you want, but if you're wanting a guy to commit to you, sleeping with him in the beginning isn't the smartest thing to, because guess what? His levels of testosterone are the highest when pursuing, you get what you want, they just drop, which means right after sex, if it's in the beginning, he actually likes you less, unless vasopressin is released. But men have to develop vasopressin receptors for that to happen, and those take time to build. Testosterone does not create commitment. To them, it peaks, dips, okay, now they have to go find that thing that peaks their testosterone again. They already got the conquest over there. Say men fall in love through the commitments they make and keep because this is more of a sign of a vasopressin release. The other sign of vasopressin release is mate guarding behavior. That is very much, these are my resources, you cannot have them because I care about them. This chemical takes time to develop, but it's also the reason if you keep sleeping with someone who treats you like shit, who keeps breaking their promises to you, who breaks their commitments to you, who does not seem to care to commit to you, the vasopressin is not going to be meant for you. You cannot sleep your way with a guy into making him care. That's not how it works. And it's going to work the reverse for you if you're a woman, because you are going to be releasing all this oxytocin and you're going to be the one going through that heartbreak. And that shit's going to suck.
Based on what was said, we can infer why a woman should not be promiscuous and jump from one man to another, because she forms an emotional connection with the men she is with. That's why a woman with a lot of experience finds it harder to genuinely fall in love in the future, because she already belongs to the streets, and her threshold of tolerance has been lost. And she's right, we do feel more masculine when we are in the courting stages. As I said, men like to solve problems, so they look for strategies and try to woo a woman. For men, it creates the feeling of achieving a goal, but after they achieve it, it is usually the woman who has to learn to keep the man interested. And how does she do that? By respecting individual spaces, doing acts of service, and bringing peace to that man. Because when we are under the constant drama and stress from a woman, that hormone in men gets activated again, making us feel we have to solve this problem. And since we think quickly and simply, we understand that this woman only brings chaos to our lives, and we immediately discard her because she doesn't bring peace.
How to increase vasopressin so that man bonds to you. Here's the thing, as a woman, you shouldn't even be doing too much. Women who overdo it, they act like his mother, that decreases the hormones that we want to increase. Some of you are saying, oh, it's too many rules, I can't do it. When really the way you can increase a man's bonding hormones is through the way you communicate. We've gotten it a little twisted. We all think we just have free filter to say whatever we want to anyone. And oh my gosh, if people tell us any type of rules and it's too much, I couldn't possibly do it. If that's working for you, go on ahead. But so many of us have not learned proper communication styles, proper relationship styles. We didn't have a healthy mother-father dynamic to model that for us. One of the ways vasopressin is released is through him accomplishing a task. So let him do stuff for you. Here's a psychology tip for you. Most people think, oh, if I do some nice things for people, they will like me more. Opposite is actually more true. When you have them do nice things for you, they like you more. Crazy. Here's an example of where vasopressin could be released. I bet you mess it up every time. Your man goes, where do you want to eat? You go, I don't know, you choose. But this is the perfect opportunity to give him a little task that he can do for you, accomplish that, and feel good. My first video, what did I say? Men do not fall in love through sex. They fall in love through the commitments they make and keep to you. So where do you want to eat? Pick two things. Oh, I don't know, babe. I would love to do either sushi or we could go get steak. Guess what? Now you have given the bait. Hey, here are two easy tasks you could do to make me happy. And when he picks one of them, he takes you to sushi. Oh my gosh, babe, I'm so happy. Tell him your feelings about that. Now you just triggered vasopressin, dopamine, testosterone, because you gave him a little task he could do for you. You let him complete it, and then you told him how happy that makes you. That's the other thing. Communicating with your feelings gives him that hormonal release that he did a good job. He completed a task. He's a big, strong man. You're not doing anything extra. I'm not saying lie, but how many times have they actually done something for you and you're like, oh, that makes me feel really good. That makes me feel really happy. Say that. That makes me feel happy. That makes me feel safe. That makes me feel protected. You want him to do more of that stuff? Say more of that stuff.
I'll repeat this in case a woman sees it. Men love to solve problems. It's in our instinct. If you want a relationship where a man remains masculine, then need your man and be grateful. It's simple. An easy example. Tell your man, love, I have this problem with this situation. What do you think I could do? I can assure you that man will give you ideas or say, I can do this for you. I guarantee he will keep that situation in mind, looking for solutions. He will call you if he thinks of something new or ask you throughout the day or when he gets home what you did about the situation, because that's how we are. We like to be useful and solve problems, especially for our woman. What does a man expect from you? Genuine gratitude, saying thanks, love. I was able to solve it thanks to what you told me. That will surely keep that man more attached to you, because women find it hard to be grateful. There are men who lose the desire to help, to be useful to their woman, simply because every time they've done something for her, it is received with little appreciation. It takes away the desire because women are tough on praise and bad at appreciating men. We see this in marriages where a man works for his family for 20 to 50 years and has never received sincere gratitude from his wife, but he receives many complaints. Need your man and be grateful. It's simple.
My God! Wow!
We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think has made men put less effort into women? Have you ever been with a woman who never appreciated anything you did for her? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.